600cc Supersport. I've said it before, I love 600 racing, and based on what we saw last time, Steve, this one will not be an anti-climax, will it?
No, it's whether our voices are going to last, because it was such a stunning race, the first of the 600s. This, of course, the same grid positions with Michael Dunlop there on pole position. You can see number 10 there, Keith Amore and Hutchinson. We have an onboard camera on Michael Dunlop, number 10, so we'll catch all the action, whatever happens.
In the middle of the picture there, you caught a glimpse of Bruce Anstey on his old machine. He says it knows its way round here without his help. Maybe that'll help him get on the podium. He hasn't missed that in all the time he's been coming here, but we haven't seen him on the podium yet as we wait for the start. John McGuinness alongside Anstey gets his head down as well. We're off.
We are, and that is the rear view. That's Michael Dunlop. We're on board. We're looking across to Bruce Anstey there. Like you say, 2007 machine, but it still seems to work. He's got to get past his teammate, number 34 there, Alistair Seeley. But at the front there, it is as they go down the hill. Very, very close. You can see it's Keith Amore, that man again, the number 39, Kojak Racing Honda. Inside line, number 9 for Hutchinson. Not quite this time. John McGuinness very much in the mix there, number 4.
Same story for Michael Dunlop as we've seen every race. He just doesn't get away well, does he?
Well, one of the troubles is these bikes with such high gearing, they have a relatively high first gear, can burn the clutch out. This is his brother, William Dunlop, we're looking up front from. And
Keith Amore from Ian Hutchinson, John McGuinness. A nice steady start as they bring it all up to temperature and speed. The last race of the day, been cut to 4 laps. Again, we've had medical problems on the coastway. The ambulances have to get through. Rain's forecast and the roads will open shortly, so the organisers have cut it to 4 laps. I don't think it'll matter, do you?
No, I don't think it'll matter one tiny little bit. Just look at that. What a view that is. It looks like some sort of fairground ride. I can tell you, if you're on the bike, you would think you're on the Big Dipper. Those tiny 600s, I say tiny, they're still about 175 kilos. Look at this at the front, it's already started. Half a lap gone and we're still neck and neck, side by side. 2 Hondas, Hutchinson versus Keith Amore, and then we've got some more Hondas. That's the other Paget machine there, John McGuinness. As McGuinness is closing in.
He is, isn't he? He's just beginning to close that gap there, and they are going to be 5 abreast coming into University.
It is Michael Dunlop, the 5th of those bunch there. Oh, bit of smoke. That's the cement dust down on the side there. That's from an oil spillage a little bit earlier on, and it is number 9 there. Hutchinson clips in. Bruce Anstey, there he is on the old. Oh my goodness me! Very, very close to firing him off. That was nearly what we saw from Connor Cummins earlier on, but Hutchinson still leads this race, and that's lost some time there.
Yes, that's the podium I would reach, you'd have thought, wouldn't you, for Bruce Anstey? But again, you get this magic effect of the slipstream, and you can come from 10th in a pack of 10 up to the very first place if you're lucky.
Yeah, look at them, still all bunched together nicely. Up the hill we're going. Michael Dunlop looking at that treaded tyre. Of course, these bikes have to run road treaded tyres.
And of course the man at the front, Ian Hutchinson, making a hole in the air for everybody else. That's why the slipstream works. Keith Amore's getting a free ride. Everybody behind him's getting a free ride as well. Ryan Farquhar in 3rd place ahead of John McGuinness now. There's the view over that rear tyre again. Just so cold still, isn't it? The skies are grey, the rain is on the way.
Yeah, track temperature isn't really fully up temperature, but once these bikes have got a lap in and everything's nicely up, these tyres like to run at about 90, 100 degrees. That's the optimum sort of temperature for them as we see everything happening. But that's some lead there that Hutchinson has now. Number 9, that's some spectacular lead he's got there now.
Underbrakes for the chicane, and the rest of the pack bunching up very tightly, and it's incredible, isn't it? They were all strung out along the straight. Now they're all virtually touching each other nose to tail as they come through, but Hutchinson with his head down does seem to be making a bit of a break. If he could get away, he could have quite a nice race for himself and take it relatively easy.
Look at there about the background. That's Bruce Anstey on the full left-hand side there on the black machine. He's lost a lot of ground with that slip he had, but he's well in the pack.
He's made up a bit of ground there, hasn't he?
He has. He goes around the outside. He's having a battle there, and has he got around the outside of Michael Dunlop? No, Dunlop keeps the inside line as they come through there. He's trying again. I'm talking about Bruce Anstey. There he is, looking back from Michael Dunlop through Church Corner. That curve that's put out there to make it a little bit sharper at Church Corner.
Well, Bruce Anstey had a good try at Michael Dunlop, but Michael Dunlop wasn't going to be bullied out of that one, and he was very brave on the brakes, and he held onto his line, held his nerve, and held his position, but Bruce Anstey getting very racy behind him. But look at this gap.
I know, Hutchinson really has now got enough of a lead that no one will get in the slipstream. That's the advantage if you can make a break. It's very unusual for around this circuit to do so. Keith Amore will be doing everything to squeeze that X10 Carter machine up there. Farquhar and McGuinness.
Ryan Farquhar through under brakes. You don't do that to John McGuinness every day of the week, do you?
Well, the trouble for John is, well, not the trouble, but it's the same for a lot of these guys. They've just got off the big superbikes, trying to adapt the braking zones and these brakes are not as powerful as the big superbikes. Of course, they're designed for racing. These are road brakes. They still do a good job, but they're not as powerful as the superbike ones.
But they are still every bit as exciting. They're only about 10 seconds a lap slower around this 9-mile course. That's how much power there is in the 600s. Look how close they are now, all going past the start-finish line and out to start the next lap. Ryan Farquhar with his head down, trying to get away from McGuinness. Dunlop, Anstey's the man behind them there. Just catch a glimpse of them from the helicopter as they run down towards the York Road corner, and if we stay with it, you'll see just how tight that is. You're not going to get that view.
Oh, Michael Dunlop's on the inside of John McGuinness into York corner. Is he going to? He's got the line. He's only just got to run it a bit wide, push McGuinness out, and he's done that. Nice and simple. John McGuinness has to decide he's not going to get through there because he wasn't left any room. Right out to the curb, Michael Dunlop.
John McGuinness loses another place. That's 2 in the last mile or so. Ryan Farquhar hard on brakes at the Mill Road roundabout. He's got Michael Dunlop behind him. Michael Dunlop wants to do something this weekend. It's been a very barren Northwest 200 for the Dunlop family, you have to say, and this is Michael's last chance. Williams not really in the mix. Hutchinson, though, look at this as he goes over the bumps on the way out towards Station Corner. He's on his own, isn't he?
Yeah, a beautifully prepared Paget machine. Michael Dunlop there, you can see next door to Ryan Farquhar, and there he is behind. Farquhar behind on the Kawasaki through Church Corner. Farquhar gets a good run through there. That wasn't just slipstreaming, he actually got through there a little bit quicker. John McGuinness also is now very much in the slipstream. We're on board a Yamaha, the R6 Yamaha, the Kawasaki on the left and the Honda was on the right.
Well, Michael Dunlop didn't want that to happen, did he?
Bruce Anstey, look at this, the old 207 model.
And Bruce Anstey's done them all up while they were arguing about it among themselves. Class piece of work from Anstey. But Farquhar and Dunlop and John McGuinness are still there. They still want it. And again, that's that cement dust. Nothing to worry about. It's Anstey who leads them as they turn at University.
Yeah, all that work. It took him a whole lap to get back to where he was after that slip over the top of University now. So Bruce Anstey away. We say it's the old bike, but it's updated every year. It's modified and kept in fine fettle. And there it is, running nice and sweetly.
Well, this would be good work for Taz if they can get this bike on the podium. They've had a pretty good weekend at the Northwest so far, and as we say, Bruce Anstey hasn't missed a podium finish when he's been racing here, and this looks like he could be on for it. As we ride with William, you say not really in the mix on this race, is he?
No, he's not. He's back down in about 10th spot at the moment, but that lead, Hutchinson's lead, it stays pretty constant. That's still something like 2.5 seconds he has, which is quite extraordinary in Supersport racing. Hutchinson riding well, as I said, Paget's Yamaha, Paget Honda, they put a good bike together. Clive Paget been involved with this sport for many, many years, a great racer himself, but he'll be stood on the start line knowing the reliability will be there. He builds the engines himself. Michael
Dunlop looked very scrappy breaking into that chicane to me, and it was all getting a little bit messy, and I wonder if it's all going according to plan for him. But going according to plan, what is this all about? It just doesn't happen in 600 racing anywhere, certainly not at the Northwest, does it?
It's very unusual. Keith Moore's just put in the fastest lap. He must be just closing a tiny bit. His last time around was a 4:37.5, and so only a few tenths quicker, but just a fraction quicker than Ian Hutchinson.
Hutch is clear, and Keith Moore is the only one who's going with him, and then it's all about the battle for the final step of the podium, which at the moment is headed by Bruce Anstey, who's not even in the shot. That's how much space these two have got behind them now, but that's under dispute now. Michael Dunlop on the inside, very late on the brakes.
Sliding and slithering it in there, and there's the view we've got. Bruce Anstey had to give better that time around. That Dunlop rear tyre looking in good shape as they come back into Church Corner.
Well, Michael Dunlop is using his ability to brake late, but I don't know whether he can get away from Bruce Anstey and go chasing after the leading duo, but he's certainly got himself on the podium at the moment.
That extraordinary how much of a lead those front two have got now. We're talking Hutchinson and Keith and Moore. Still going through the speed trap then. This man last time around 175 miles an hour. Not bad for a street 600cc machine. Why you need to buy anything bigger, I don't really know. Here is this still going on. Anstey looks on the inside. Seeley there. It's the first time I think Seeley's had another task bike in front of him all weekend.
It is indeed, but remember he's got 2 wins already. Can he make it a hat-trick here? Alistair Seeley has come from further back to win races here today, so it is eminently doable. This is William Dunlop's view as we go behind the commentary position and back out onto the coast road. That's Connor Cummins ahead of us. Michael Dunlop has got 2 Taz bikes. Look, Seeley straight up the inside. You'd think he'd know, Bruce, wouldn't you? He's his teammate.
No one else has worked that one out, have they? Seeley just has the confidence down there. He has the fact that the front end of the bike nicely planted as he tips it in there. Good and late on the brakes, but he's the only person I've seen pass there all day long.
I'll tell you what, they're going to watch this on DVD over and over again, these races, and they'll all be doing it next year.
Into York another time. Herb camera down there as they go out up the hill. That was where Bruce Anstey high-sided 3 years ago, I remember, just on a bit of a cold tyre, but he's through there nicely this time around. I think Seeley's bike will probably have a little bit of a speed advantage as they head off out of the Mill Road roundabout. We'll get to see in a minute. That is, of course, Michael Dunlop, the youngster.
Good job there's no mirrors on those bikes, otherwise he'd see a pair of Taz Suzuki's behind him, and he'd know that he's got his handful on this run down towards University this time. Is that the pass already?
Yep, that is the performance of the Taz Suzuki, I think, as he's already got through. That was past the gas station down towards Station Corner. Now, if you can keep it absolutely flat, which they do on these 600, you have to keep your head under the screen. It's no good putting your knee out. That will slow the bike down too much.
Everybody watching just ducked. I know I did. That's just extraordinary, that corner. And here is Seeley and that's
Bruce Anstey. Yeah, Bruce Anstey. Bruce Anstey is the one on the left. They're all at stalemate at this point, but what happens is you get in the slipstream and get past, then you repass the next time when they've gone past you. As Dunlop.
Say that again?
John McGuinness on the inside there. He just splits up the TAS spikes, but we're on board. Michael Dunlop up over the link road one more time. Bruce Anstey, you can see, using his body weight, trying to keep the front wheel down, trying to get the bike turning, using a bit of the red part of the track as well. That's sort of the hard shoulder, but it doesn't matter when you're motorcycle racing.
So Michael Dunlop, man under lots of pressure. Anstey, Seeley and John McGuinness right behind him, and Connor Cummins behind that, and Cameron Donald behind that. This is the last lap though, and look, where are the leaders? They've gone, haven't they?
Well, this is the battle for the final podium position. It could be any one of these guys. TAS machines either side there of the Dunlop bike. That is, how close do you look at that shot we're getting there? That's about 165 miles an hour on the braking.
And three abreast into the chicane.
Let the brakes off. Oh, look at the rear wheel right up in the air.
Seeley. That's lovely work from Alistair Seeley, but we've seen so much of that. He's had a fantastic day here this weekend. He's had a fantastic Northwest 200. Another podium finish would do him nicely, but it isn't over till it's over, and it's not over yet. John McGuinness is still in the frame, you know.
Yeah, he is. Here it is, this is the lead, and it's been stalemate, that 2.5 seconds for most of the race. Ian Hutchinson, you have to say, riding his own race. It's very unusual. Oh, now 4 abreast.
Who's it going to be?
And Bruce Anstey's come back. He's just taken about 4 places in that slipstream. That faithful old machine there is doing him proud here today. So he's, at the moment, on the final step of the podium, looking back from Michael Dunlop.
Well, it looks like Michael Dunlop is going to be denied his podium finish, and he will go away from the Northwest 200 empty-handed as they do it all again at the Metropole. Anstey's clear, isn't he? Anstey's got a little bit of a break there, and it's all about 4th place now. And it's going to be Alistair Seeley, or is it going to be John McGuinness? He was leaning on my shoulder then.
Yeah, he was. John McGuinness nearly rubbed his clutch lever on the rear tyre of Michael Dunlop, who's got our camera there. There they go through Church Corner, and it does look like Bruce is now pulled out 2 or 3 bike lengths.
Michael Dunlop looking back at John McGuinness as they go along the coast road for the final time. But don't forget that up front, Ian Hutchinson, with 1 Northwest win to his credit, is just about to double his tally. That was a 600 race in 2006. He won last. So it's been a long time coming for Ian Hutchinson, but I'm feeling confident that no one is going to catch him, not even these boys.
Hutchinson now has something like a 3.2 second lead, but this is for the final podium position. Bruce Anstey, who we know's got blisters from riding the Superbike, but can he just hold on? He's got his teammate Seeley right behind him. Surely he's not going to jam him out, but Seeley, actually unfortunately for Seeley, hasn't got his favourite spot to pass him before the finishing line, because there's just 1 corner remaining now.
Yes, Alistair Seeley could pass him on this lap, but only after they cross the line. And so it is going to be Bruce who takes the 3rd spot on the podium. Tremendous performance.